Hey, my name is April and I'm the peaceful wife. Today I want to talk about situations where maybe you want more of your husband's attention. Maybe he's watching football or sports a lot, maybe he's going hunting a lot or working extra, or maybe things are so tense that he is avoiding you and you really want more attention. How can you respond in a way that will be productive, that won't actually repel him? Let's talk about some ways that we could respond that may be counterproductive. These things may come naturally to us in our flesh and our sinful nature, but they're going to sabotage what we really want. They're going to help to destroy our intimacy and our relationship, whether we're married or single, and they're not going to give us the results that we want. So some destructive ways that we could respond when we aren't getting the attention that we want from our men would be things like making demands, yelling, crying, seething with resentment or bitterness, pouting, stomping up the stairs, slamming doors, throwing things, glaring at him, holding on to contempt and hatred in my heart, complaining to him or complaining about him, gossiping about him, giving him the cold shoulder, seeking revenge, assuming evil motives that maybe my husband doesn't love me as much as I love him, because if he really loved me, he'd want to spend every minute with me, accusing him of idolatry, of his hobby, spending a lot of money on shopping therapy to get even with him, sinking into depression, flirting with other men who are more willing to give me some attention, turning to food for comfort, or engaging in other addictions, maybe video games or social media or drugs or alcohol or anorexia there's lots of addictions that we could, or even cleaning the house obsessively, like anything that's an addiction that we try to use to fill that void in our heart that's not Jesus can be destructive. Expecting my children to meet the emotional needs my husband is not meeting for me. Trying to control my husband, trying to force him to change to be what I want him to be. Throwing the TV out the window or hiding the remotes or the hunting equipment, that kind of thing. This list is what it looks like to respond in the power of my sinful flesh. And the fruit of these types of approaches in my marriage or my relationship with a boyfriend or with anybody really will be, I will probably repel my husband. He's going to most likely feel very disrespected, insulted, smothered, controlled. I'm probably going to hurt our intimacy on every level. I can try to have control, or I can have intimacy. I can't have both. Laura Doyle talks about that. I may destroy his trust in me because it is going to look like I am trying to hurt him. And why would a guy trust someone who is trying to hurt him? I become a woman I really don't want to be. This is not the kind of godly character that I want in my life for myself. I hurt my fellowship with Christ when I respond in sinful ways. And I destroy my witness for Christ to others when I'm responding in the flesh. Some helpful questions to ask myself if I want more attention from my husband. What are my exact expectations, and why do I have these expectations? Where do they come from? Do I expect my husband or my boyfriend to give up a big part of himself to change his very personality or his interests for me? And why do I think that that is something I should ask of him? Am I expecting him to meet the deepest needs of my soul that only Christ can meet? Am I really being content in Christ alone, or am I idolizing my husband, my boyfriend, and expecting them to be Jesus to me? Am I willing to seek God's will above my own? Am I willing to die to myself, to my own desires, and seek God's will and his desires? Am I being contentious and bitter or am I being gracious? Is my husband or boyfriend actually sinning, or is it just that I'm upset that he's not doing what I want him to do? Am I willing to be content in Christ alone, no matter how much attention I'm getting from my man at the moment? Am I trying to control my guy and make decisions for him? Where do I base my security? How do I expect to find true contentment? Am I looking to people in this world or to things of this world for that? Or am I looking to God? Am I open to allow God's Spirit to direct me and lead me in productive, healthy, godly ways to respond when I'm feeling lonely or neglected that will honor Christ, bless my husband, bless me and our marriage or relationship? Here are some new ways to look at things that might be ways you have never thought about before. Perhaps God misses me as much or more than I miss my husband or my boyfriend during baseball or football or hunting season. Maybe this extra time to myself is a gift from God for me to spend with him. Maybe this is a time for me to be able to dig much deeper into my faith. What if there is something spiritual God desires for me to learn during this time? Am I open to receiving the spiritual treasures of heaven during trials, small trials and big trials? Why would I want my husband to not do things he loves if it's not sin? Is it really my place to try to keep another grown adult from doing something that means a lot to them if it's not a sin? And would I appreciate somebody dictating to me that I couldn't do things that I love to do? Even if what my husband is doing is sinful, I can share my concerns if my own heart and motives are right, and I can respectfully and humbly address the issue. But even then, I don't get to force my will on him. He has free will from God just like I do, and we both get to make our own decisions, and we are accountable to God for those things. It's fine to say, I would like some more time together, or I really miss you. Could we do something together Tuesday night, or could I spend 30 minutes with you maybe today without the TV at some point, or could we spend an hour together this weekend just hanging out? I can do this respectfully without being needy or clingy, without being resentful or accusatory. Many men tend to bond by just being in the same room together or doing something together without talking. And so could I look at this situation as I'm giving him a gift by bonding with him in ways that matter to him? If I'm sitting with him while he's enjoying the game, maybe that's a gift to him. All right. Some other suggestions. I can choose times during commercials if he's watching TV, or between plays to have a friendly conversation. I could try to enjoy the event with him if he's receptive to that and I can have a great attitude. I could use that time to do something I enjoy for myself. I could encourage the kids to participate with their dad if it's football or sports or even hunting, possibly. They may enjoy doing that together. It may be a way the kids and their dad could bond. Most of all, the goal for us has to be as close to Christ as possible, listening for his voice, walking in obedience to him. Do what he prompts you to do in your particular situation, because his wisdom is so much greater than anybody else's. When I don't get what I want, this is a test of my character. I can respond in the power of God. I don't have to respond in the power of my sinful flesh if I am in Christ. I can keep my eyes on Christ, realizing this is a test. I can find my security and contentment in Christ alone. I can count trials as joy, like James 1 says, knowing God will use these things to strengthen my faith, to help me grow spiritually if I'm willing to look to him. I can respond with the power of God's Spirit with poise, dignity, gentleness, friendliness, peace, grace, and self-control. I can look for ministry opportunities to my husband, his friends, maybe even to the sports athletes themselves. I can have a positive, beautiful, grateful attitude no matter what my husband chooses to do. I can set a godly example for my children. I can trust God to work in my husband's heart. I can pray for my husband and family humbly. I can recognize negative thoughts and shoot them down, taking each thought captive for Christ. And I can anticipate the good that God will bring out of each situation as I seek Him wholeheartedly. I hope these things might give you some ideas of how you can handle the situation that you're in right now or that you might be in the future. If you want to find me, you can reach me at my blogs as well, peacefulwife.com and peacefulsinglegirl.com. Thanks so much for watching.